Marketing mentor. Today we'll be talking about a very different topic. Today we're going to delve into market research and competitor research, both of which is very essential whenever you're thinking about strategizing a social media post or whenever you're thinking about revamping your whole social media strategy, right? Because that is something, those are the key pillars that you will base your strategy on, right? So it's very important for you to understand the importance of market and competitor research so that you're able to understand not just your target audience well, but also analyze your competitors really, really well so that you can outperform into your niche, right? Now, the sole reason why it's very essential for you as a marketer to know about this thing is because whenever a client approaches you, let's say I want to get social media marketing done for this particular brand, or let's say I want to get it done for this particular product or something, right? So this particular process is going to help you figure out a market gap, and once you're able to figure out that market gap, that is going to really help you out with strategizing your product a little better. And even forget about a market gap in the very first place. When a person reaches out to you and they ask you, okay, let's do the marketing of this particular product, you yourself need to be firstly confident about this thing, that okay, the marketing of this can be done, the product has a little bit of scope in the market, right? People are there looking for that particular product. It's not like there is no scope, right? So if you know a little bit of market analysis and if you know a little bit of competitor analysis, you're good to go ahead with it, right? Now there are various tactics that you particularly apply, and there are various tools that you use to analyze your market and to analyze your competitors, right? Even you can stalk your competitors' advertisements also using Facebook. Now let's just talk about, firstly, how do you conduct a market research? What are the bases that you conduct your market research on? And once you go about conducting a market research, how do you start with that particular process? So the very first criteria to have a market research, a very well-versed market research, is to define the objective. By defining the objective, what I mean is that if you are doing this particular market research, identify that what exactly are you aiming to achieve by doing this market research, right? What exactly are you looking for in that market research? First, we have to be very clear on this particular objective, right? Second is your target audience. In the next case, you have to figure out that who exactly your target audience is, who is going to help you with the market research. You have a product, you want to know that okay, there is a growth scope of this particular product or not. Now see that product is caterable to whom, which is the audience that it's falling into, right? What is the range of that particular person? What is the gender? What is the income level of that particular person, right? Try to identify those things up, okay? And then third, analyze the industry trends. After you have known that okay, this is what your objective is, this is what your audience is, this is what your audience want, see that in long term, is the market declining or is the market shooting up for that particular product or that particular field or the particular industry for that matter, right? So have a very close look on that. You can use Google Trends for this. You just have to type in the particular keyword and it's going to tell you using a graph as to where the trend is going, okay? Then comes evaluate social media trends. Now, another way to know about the scope of a particular product is through social media, right? So see in the stories, try to see it in the different competitors, pages as well, that does the product still surviving? Is people still like asking and demanding for that particular product or not? Now, as I told you that there are various tools in the market, so that is going to help you with your research purpose. Some of the tools are here. Google Trend, just write the topic and the keyword. It's going to help you analyze that over time. Is the trend declining or is it increasing, right? There's a resource file that is going to be given to you. In that, every link has been given and how do you use it has been mentioned over there, right? Then comes the BuzzSumo. So BuzzSumo basically helps you enter the competitor domain to find out that which are the top performing posts that competitors have. So you put out the details of the competitors and you're able to see that what is the kind of topic, what is the kind of content they're creating is working and is getting the highest engagement, right? Now, what is going to happen with this particular process, if you're aware about this particular things beforehand itself, you'll be able to cater more, you'll be able to create same kind of content more, right? Instead of experimenting again and again, you'll be able to understand it in much better sense, right? Then comes SAMrush. So in SAMrush, what happens is that you analyze your competitors, right? So it could be on the social basis as well, it could be on the traffic and the backlinks basis as well. So whenever you enter your competitors' details into there and you try to do the audit of it, you will be able to see all the backlinks that has been created by them, all the traffic sources that has been there, the keywords that has been listed, everything will be detailed and displayed to you, right? And there are other tools as well, for example, Hawthorne Insights and Statistica, which is going to help you really a lot with the data and the numbers of it, right? So that is something that is going to help you. And another one is SurveyMonkey. SurveyMonkey basically helps you with the forms filling and all those things, right? If I move on, is SurveyMonkey. SurveyMonkey basically helps you with the forms filling and all those things, right? If I move towards creating a buyer persona, there is a very important thing that you need to be aware about, who exactly your buyer is. I told you you need to be aware about your audience. You have to work towards it, right? So there are step-by-step guide as to how do you develop that buyer persona, how do you figure out that who exactly your buyer is, right? First thing is that go on to the secondary sources of data, if not primary sources of data, figure out that, do your research, do your data collection really well, see that which of the particular people would be inclined towards this kind of customers, this kind of products, right? Read the magazine, read the web analytics, go to the social media, do the customer surveys and figure out that what exactly is the current customers and what your audience segment looks like, right? So gather information, then you will analyze those information and then you will be able to figure out a particular set of individual and group that you have to target, right? After you have figured out that group of individual that you have to target, figure out that what is the demographic information of that particular person. When I say a demographic information of that particular person, what I would like to know on that part is what is the age, what is the gender, what is the location, what is the occupation that they're doing, Right, all these things has been very crystal clear to me. Right, then comes psychographic factors. So there are different factors that comes into picture. Apart from knowing the basic details of the where and how about the person, you are interested into knowing that what actually drives that person, what is the motivating factor for that particular person, what are the interests and hobbies that the particular person carries. Right, so there are psychographic factors as well that comes into picture. So apart from this, if apart from work, where do they invest a lot of their time on, what are the other activities that they do. So if you're aware about this particular thing, for example, let's say there's a particular product where you're selling a healthcare product, okay, and the particular person is already very health conscious, the age and everything is like let's say 24, and locations, it's like looking at very good locations and everything, income level is also good and everything. Right, psychographic factor is interested into gymming and all. Right, then you will be able to sell your product to that particular person if you are into the health sector. Right, that's why knowing about the interest and hobby is going to really help you a lot. Right, then comes the value. So what are the principles that is very important to your customers? That is something to figure out. So it would not be possible for you to ask individually what is, but simultaneously what you can observe from all those things, that is something you have to answer there. Right, and what is the lifestyle like? Is it busy? Is it like they are at home? Is it like is it like women? Is it like moms? Like who exactly are you serving to? That is something that is going to come into psychographic factors. Then comes the behavioral rate. So apart, like what is something that would drive them to make that purchase, right? What is, and if not, if they're not making a purchase, then what is the that would drive them to make that purchase, right? What is, and if not, if they're not making a purchase, then what is the concern that they might be having before they take a purchase, right? The motivation factor could be anything there, right? It could be just like possibly the chocolate is the last chocolate that is there and you might not see a chocolate again. Could that be also a factor? Or concerns could be like okay, let me not spend my money right now because probably I might lose all of other money as well, right? So that could also be the buying concern. So you try to figure out these behavioral traits also, that when they're ready to give money and when they're not ready to give money also, right? Then comes how frequent they make the purchases through their channels, and if they're making the purchases, then through which channel they're making those purchases. Is it just through website? If it's just through website, then investing in a website is a better option. If let's say you have lots and lots of sources that you can buy from Facebook, you can buy from Instagram, you can buy from all the possible places, but the person is buying only from one place, that means you have to stop other places as well because nobody's going there anyway, right? So that is going to save you with lots and lots of cost. Then comes what are the pain points and challenges they are facing. So let's say if somebody is facing any issues, for example, I want to get a course, right? I want to get a course, but my initial plan was to get an offline course, right? But now due to COVID and everything, I'm not able to get an offline course, so I am left with an online course option now, and it's very important for me to do that particular course. Now while I'm thinking of doing that particular course, the advertisement and everything is coming to me, right? But from the back of the mind, it was not decided that I'm going to go for an online course, right? So there might be some challenges, there might be some problems that I will be facing, right? So how do I tackle those things as well is going to play a very, very important role over there, right? So those are the pain points and challenges that needs to be addressed. All right, then comes create persona narrative. So what do I mean when I say create persona narrative? Whatever the information that you have collected so far, give a person a name, fill in that particular detail and make that particular persona, right? So that when you discuss on that person, or when you, let's say, imagine that particular category should come into your mind, right? Now I think there is a persona that has been mentioned over here. Yeah, so this is the persona that has been mentioned over here. Basically, I've taken up an example. So I think I'm just going to go back and later on we'll discuss on it once we're going to see an example all at one go, right? So let's just directly move towards competitor research and then we can move towards another parts of it, right? So here we go. So we're going to learn about competitor research now that you have learned about all the other things possible. Now you have to look towards competitor research. Now how do you do that competitor research? Your market research is done, right? Now it's left with competitor research. So first you have to identify who exactly your competitor is, right? When I say identify who exactly your competitor is, figure out your direct customers and figure out your direct competitors, right? So direct and indirect competitors, what is the difference between the two? The difference between the two is that the direct competitors have the same audience that you're targeting and they're offering the same thing, right? Indirect competitors are someone who is targeting the same audience as you are targeting, but they're offering a very different thing from you, right? So that is the difference between a direct and an indirect competitor. So it's very important for your business to figure out that in the market presently, who is your direct competitor and who is your indirect competitor. At least figure out 10 of each. All right. Then analyze their websites. So a lot of tools that has already been available, right, which is going to help you analyze the website thoroughly, right? So evaluate that. Firstly, apart from tools, also there is basic observation that you can do about a person's website, right? Observe that is the design good or not, right? Evaluate it. Look for the user experiences over there. Look for the USPs over there. That what exactly are they targeting on? What they exactly are moving towards, right? And based on that, you can revamp your whole website itself. Right? Then comes the criteria of examine the content marketing. So analyze the type and the quality that they're producing. Look for the brand post and everything that what exactly has been going on. Examine their content marketing strategy. See that what are the particular traps that they're using to attract their customers, right? See what is the blog page that they're moving for, right? See what is the infographic. See what is the kind of content that they're creating, right? Then look for social media analysis that see that what is the kind of post they are posting. Look at the strategies. Look at the audience interactions they are having. Look how they're replying to a particular piece of comment as well, right? And then another thing is SEO analysis. So what you have to make sure from here is that identify the keywords from here. here, right? That what is the keywords that they are targeting and what is working in their favor, and how is that they are actually building their backlink profiles, how they're maintaining their domain authority. All these things you have to evaluate. So you evaluate them on various criteria, your competitors. Firstly, you figure out who your competitor is, then you see their website, then you see their marketing strategies that they're using, then you do the social media analysis that what is working, how many followers do they have and not, and then you move towards the SEO, then you do the SEO analysis wholly, right? So moving ahead with it, apart from that, you will be looking out to the other sectors as well, which is your paid advertisements. So whenever they are running an advertisement, how exactly are they running their advertisement? Is it like, are they solely focused towards Facebook, right? Or are they solely like they're just using Instagram for advertisement, right? Or they're promoting themselves on multiple platforms, right? Or let's say if they're running an advertisement and everything, so with Facebook they're able to figure out that okay, this is the advertisement that they're running and everything, and the details of them as well, right? So how frequently are they running their advertisements or not, right? And is their advertisement is the only thing that is getting huge amount of likes as compared to the other posts that they're getting, right? So just figure out on the paid advertisement part as well. Investigate it thoroughly that what is working and what is not working into their favor, right? Then move towards the product and service offering. See that what is the kind of product they are offering. See what is the kind of services they are offering. What is the promotion strategy that they're using. What is the discount that they're giving, right? Figure out on all those things. Then to the customer review part, go on to Google reviews, go on to other possible platforms they are available on to see the reviews. See that how the customer is interacting with them. See if you could figure out a gap between the two, because usually what happens is that if you have to figure out a gap in a market or you have to figure out a gap in the product of your competitors, what you can possibly do from your side is that you can just go on Google review, see that what is exactly they're targeting and what exactly they're not targeting. So let's say if you went to a restaurant and when you went to a hotel particularly and they talked about that it's not hygienic, right? So you know that okay, this is not a hygienic product, right? Or this is not a hygienic place to go to. So what you will make sure in your USP, you will highlight on that one that this is a hygienic product, right? So what is happening in this particular case, you are actually bridging that gap up. All right, the other pointer that you need to be very careful on is the partnership and the collaboration they're having, right? So in partnership and collaboration, look at who exactly your competitors are tying up with, right? And is it influencing their credibility in any way or not, right? If it is, then possibly you might need to take that route as well, because if that is a very important factor, then I think you have a competition in the game, right? So you should be actually taking the leverage on the same part. And then comes the industry reports and news. So what exactly is the news channel telling about this? Or let's say if you read the newspaper, are they talking positively about this particular company or the competitors that you have, or is it a negative impact that they're giving on that particular company, right? So reports and even their expansion merger plan is something that you should be really, really aware on. All right, now let's proceed. Now let's proceed further ahead with buyer's journey. So when I just a few seconds before, like we discussed on competitors research, so I think we'll just move ahead with competitor research and then we'll look at this particular example to look a little deeper into it, right? So some of the questions that you need to be asked is that who exactly your target audience is, what is the current USP that they're having, right? If you want to differentiate yourselves and from each other, what exactly would you do that, right? Is their pricing strategy effective or not? Are they working on a low price model? Are they working on a high price model, or is a medium range that is they're working on? And is the customer price sensitive or not? That is a very important point that you have to think on. If they are price sensitive, then possibly you can take the leverage of price sensitivity over there, right? Then look at that, how effective is their online presence, that are they taking care of the user experiences or not, right? Whatever the customers are asking, or let's say whatever the queries that they're having, it's been addressed properly or not. That is something that you have to look for. Then comes what is the keyword they're targeting in search engine, social media platforms, what are the platforms they're active on, how are they engaging in their audiences, what are their strengths and the weaknesses that they have, right? So the basic questions that you need to ask. If you ask yourself this kind of questions, then you will be able to revamp and you will be able to actually think better on the strategy part. What I'll do, I'll provide with the resource of it, that what are the questions that you need to ask so that you can just go through it and you can just answer directly there, right? Then let's move ahead with another part of it. I think this has been already in cover. Let's move at the buyer's journey. Right, so there are usually 3 stages when we think of buyer. First one is awareness, second is consideration, and third one is decision, right? So when I talk about awareness, the buyers is aware of the problem or the opportunity, right? So in the awareness stage, buyers knows that okay, this is a problem they're facing, this is a dilemma that they're facing, right? And they also know that okay, this is an opportunity that they have right now, right? Now tactics. Now what is something that you can do from your side is that if they're already aware about the problem, highlight it a little more. Now, how can you highlight it a little more? You can talk about it, right? So you can talk about it on video, you can talk about it on a blog post, you can talk about it on LinkedIn, right? And you can highlight different benefits of it, right? For example, if a person is facing a problem that, okay, should I go for career advancement or not, right? So what you will be doing in this category, you will be creating content around the career advancement part, right? If you're already aware that your customers are talking about this particular subject, then you create content around career advancement, right? You mention all those details over there. Right, then comes the consideration stage. So in consideration stage, what happens is that the buyer evaluates all the potential solutions, right? So here in the stage, what happens is that you made them even more aware of the problems. Now they're reading more on it, right? Now you have also placed the solution very categorically over there once you have mentioned those problems as well, right? Now they are aware of the problems. Now they're evaluating those problems as well, right? Now what you can do from your side, if you want to highlight yourself a little more, is that you can offer them something for free. So let's say they're looking for a solution. So give a part of solution to them for free, right? Or let's say you can just help them understand the testimonials part of it as well. For example, if there's a person who's already availed your services, right? If somebody has already availed your services, they will talk positively about you, right? Make sure that the person is listening to that positive comment that the other person is having of you. right? Then comes a decision. So this is when actually the buyer is finally committing to a solution, and how you can tempt them, what is the tactic that you can use from your side. Now you know that they're into the stage of, okay, they will make a decision now, right? They've evaluated and everything. So shoot a mail for call to action possibly, or let's say give a discount, a limited time discount, that within 2 hours or 3 hours I'm going to end this particular sale, or this is the sale that has been going on, or specifically a personalized mail just for them, right? Now what is going to happen in this particular case? You gave them a solution, right? You help them evaluate those solutions. A part of solutions is already given from your side. Now automatically they will be biased towards, getting a full solution from your side, right? Provided that they liked it, was good enough, right? Whatever solution that you gave previously. All right. Then comes the another point, whereas I'm going to talk about your competitors. We have already dealt with it, right? That your direct competitors, engagement analysis, their study of audience, just repetitive content again, right? We are going to learn about market research and competitive research to an example now, because it is something that you, no matter how much you learn theoretically, you have to do a practical implication of it as well, right? So here's a case over here, right? So the platform, we have an online learning platform. There are 3 competitors that we have. First one is Skill Up, second is Learn Pro, and third is a Masterclass Pro, right? Now what is going to happen in Skill Up, L Pro, like Learn Pro and M Class Pro, is that the Skill Up, we have written some features also of it, right? So Skill Up is basically like a professional course, right? In the professional course, they are using their LinkedIn platform. They're creating content on LinkedIn and just giving a professional course, right? This is their USP. Learning Pro, what is their USP? It's more budget friendly, and they are providing them on the YouTube platform. So they're creating content on YouTube, right? Masterclass Pro is a premium, and they're spreading their information from Instagram, right? So the information that you know about them, now let's dissect their market landscape, let's dissect their competitors landscape, all right? So let's look at the audience analysis first. So to understand the audience a little better, here you can understand it by, for example, if there is a learning platform, usually a student might be attracted to it, possibly a 16-year-old one or possibly a 40-year-old one. That is something that you would be looking a range into. 40 is basically too old, but if they're looking for professionals, like then possibly that platform as well could also work out. So I think 80 to 40 is a cap that we set up, right? What is the psychographics that you can possibly picture? Now move back when we learned about psychographics. What does exactly it means? Values that they carry, right? If somebody is wanting or somebody is interested even slightly in investing a particular course, what is the value it depicts that they're interested in upselling, right? So that is something that can be figured out from here. They're looking into career growth, they're looking into accessible learning as well, right? So that is what psychographics means over here. Then comes the behavioral insights. So here what happens is that you engage with content on LinkedIn now, right? So what is the behavioral insight that you got from them is that this particular people are engaging frequently with the content, right? They are engaging on the LinkedIn as well, they're engaging on YouTube, they're engaging on Instagram as well, and they most possibly would like to have a free trial of it. Not sure on it, but they are here, so they are using these platforms also. All right. Now, what is the deliverable that you have to do from your side when a client asks you to do the analysis? What is something that you're going to do for yourself and for your clients as well? You're going to do the competitor analysis. You're going to do the audience analysis. Competitor analysis may what you will do, you will just figure out that platforms and their engagement strategies and their metrics. What is their USP? Or another thing that you can do is that SWOT analysis of everyone over there, right? In audience analysis, what you're going to do, you're going to have a persona, right? And you're going to talk about buyer's journey over there, right? So let's look at one by one. If I talk about competitors analysis, here are the deliverables over here. What we wanted to look was the name of the competitor. All right. Platform they are using. SkillUp is using LinkedIn. This one is using YouTube. This one is using Instagram. Okay, perfectly fine. What is the kind of content type they are creating? Success stories, free course reviews, right? And celebrity-driven ads, right? So these are the kind of content they are creating. Now engagement. See the engagement. 1,000 likes and posts on success stories. 50,000 views. Why? Because the budget-friendly option, free course previews are also available. Celebrity-driven, it's shared a lot because it obviously credibility comes into picture. So you can see the engagement factor is also affecting over here. Now what is their strength? They have their professional credibility because a lot of people talk about the success stories there, so they obviously have done something to get that. Free course reviews, that means they're very budget friendly, right? Then another one is that celebrity driven, so it's very exclusive, right? Which is very luxurious possibly, right? So not everybody might go for it, but it's exclusive, okay, to some people. Now comes the SWOT analysis of it. Now, how would you do a SWOT analysis? First is strength. Figure out that what is the strength of this particular company is, what is the weakness of this particular company is, what is the future opportunity that this particular company can actually have, and what is the threat that the company might face from its competitors, right? That is how you basically do a SWOT analysis now, right? So if I talk about SkillUp in detail, they are posting where? On LinkedIn. If they're posting on LinkedIn, your audience is obviously professional. They engages very well with the content. Okay, done, right? Credibility also increases if you're posting on LinkedIn. Okay, done. What is the weakness? The weakness is, since you're posting it on LinkedIn, there are professional people involved. The people of, let's say, 18 or 20 and might not be there on LinkedIn, non-professional people, right? So where would you go for that? So that you're not tapping on that market, though that is also your audience, but you're not tapping on that market. So it gives you a very limited reach now. All right. Then comes over-reliance on LinkedIn. Since you're posting on one platform, it gives a lot of burden to one platform itself, and you're relying heavily on that, right? Okay. Another opportunity, what you could figure out is that expand your Instagram and YouTube. See your other competitors, how they are behaving. They're using Instagram and YouTube as well. So you also do the same thing. One thing I want to tell you is that if you cannot figure out any weakness or any opportunities, right, whatever that comes to your mind, once you read it through again, no, then you will be able to figure out the right cause and the problem. So till then, whatever that comes to mind, please write it down. All right. Then come opportunities. So try to expand your opportunities, like go on further YouTube. Right, create a very beginner level courses over there like your competitors are doing. For example, Learn Pro is doing that, so they're taking advantage of that. So why not tap onto those opportunities as well? Threats, what I can see is that people who are into multi-channel platforms, that could be a threat for you because you are restricted to one platform. right? And also there could be a decrease in organic LinkedIn reach now, right? That is something that could be a threat for your site, right? Because again, depends on the quality of the content. If you're not able to produce more, obviously the decline is going to happen. Then for Learn Pro, it's YouTube presence, premium content, right? So strengths are key. The YouTube presence is very good, right? They're very appealing to the cost conscious customers, right? Weakness, what is that it doesn't have premium content and it's inconsistent with their production quality because they're posting on YouTube, right? So probably not might be spending too much of additional resources on that as well. Then comes the opportunity part of it. So investing in a very highly professional quality videos, gamifications and everything, there is something that they can do because their course is already going well, they're getting good amount of views. So new add-ons needs to be there to upskills, right? The platforms like Khan Academy might be a competitor for them in future, right? Algorithm can reduce the visibility, so that is the threat. Can you see for every account, every platform they have used, you have a very different weakness, you have a very different opportunity, you have a very different threat altogether, right? Look at masterclass, high brand value with celebrity backing, aspirational Instagram content. Okay, perfect. Strength. Weaknesses, high pricing, heavy reliance on Instagram ad. Opportunities, mid pricing, they can go for mid pricing, right? They can actually expand for LinkedIn as well because since they are very high in terms of their amount, LinkedIn people are very professional in nature. They might have the capacity to actually give that particular amount, right? And the threats could be that affordable competition, like Learn Pro could be a major competitor for this particular person, and saturated ads reduce ROI. So you're running your ads only on Instagram, and there are other competitors as well running the ads on the same platform. Those reduce the ROI of your overall performance. Now comes the persona table, right? So when I talk about your audience, this is basically what you did for brand, right? So you do a computer analysis. Now if I have to know about persona, right? So we just named a particular person as Chris, right? To make it easy identifiable, right? Now demographics, we have decided that this particular person, age, occupation, other details we have taken. So it's 29-year-old woman. She's a working professional and juggling between work time and self-improvement. She wants to go for career advancement. She's juggling time in between that. Psychographics are that the value, interest, and motivation. Career growth is something that she's resonating with, and she reads content on LinkedIn as well, right? Behavioral insight is that she interacts with the platform or content, right? Chris follows LinkedIn thought leaders, indicating the credible endorsement will influence him. So he basically does that, right? So what you have done is that you've given a name, you have given demographic, you've given a psychographic, you've given a behavioral analysis, everything in a very crystal clear point, right? So whenever somebody designs a strategy, you think of that particular customer, that okay, if this was a customer, would this particular customer buy or not, right? Then the different stages that a buyer have. For example, if buyer becomes aware of the problem or opportunity, then the tactics that you can use is that highlight those things, which I talked about way before. If let's say they want to evaluate the potential solutions, then you offer them something like testimonials, purviews, all those things you can provide them with. Let's say if they go for decision as well, for example, the buyer wants to commit to the solution of that. Now then you can provide them with a call to action, discounts, limited time offers as well, right? So an example here is that, for example, you can see that top 5 skills to boost your career. LinkedIn post about, he saw this kind of post, right? Then he watches the tutorial sessions, right, to offer, right? And then how did he buy the particular course? Once he got a discount, then only he opted for this particular course from here, right? So this is basically how you would go about your competitors and you would go about your buyers, all right? Now, some tips that I would give from my side for effective research is that stay updated. Check on all the possible platforms that what is the status is, right? See the influencers, see that what their niche is and everything, right? Then engage with the audience. Engage with the audience in the sense that conduct frequent polls, know their feedback, see what is working out for them, see what is not working for them, right? Keep an eye on emerging platforms. If there is any platform that is emerging, for example, at the time of COVID, Reels came, right? People were like more inclined towards that, right? Whoever took leverage of it were able to actually, get more amount of followers. So taking a leverage would also work over here. Document and review your findings. Whatever that you find relevant to your business and your everything, just review it and keep it into your list because you never know when it's going to be very resourceful to you, right? Lastly, it's the 3 rules that you should abide by. It's that always take a data-driven decision. Don't take decision in haste. Second is that stay ahead of trends. Whenever you see a trend, right, coming up and anything, just make sure that you're hopping onto those trends because once you go back to it, doesn't work that way, right? Then comes that outperform your customer, like competitors. So whatever competitors are doing, if they're working on price sensitivity and your customers are price sensitive, go for price sensitivity then, right? So always make sure that you're one step ahead of your competitors, all right? So this is it for the competitor research and market research part. I'm going to see you in the next class. Thank you.